I have many pens, but this pen is the Pentel Touch Pen, or brush pen, or whatever it's called. But the real question is, can it art? So this is like an introduction to my art thing, The art flying around everywhere. Yes, that's right. Pens going to and fro. Yep, it's pretty fun. Music and everything. It's going on for quite a while now. It's getting a bit boring. Try and turn it off. Just stop it. Just turn it off. Turn it off. Okay. Somewhere in the world there is a perfect pen that will fill all of my desires. A pen that can create lines of a large range of thicknesses. But also it doesn't have a really soft tip so that the thin lines aren't hard to reproduce. A pen that contains a pigment ink which is light, fast and waterproof would also be nice. So basically I want a pen that can do everything because I'm lazy and I don't like being interrupted while drawing, changing between different size pens and different fine liners to get different line thicknesses and yada yada yada. Anyway, this is not that pen, but it has elements of my ideal pen. It's a brush tip pen. It has a line thickness starting at about 0.3 millimeters. You can just look at the lines there. I'm just looking at a ruler and guessing anyway. To about 3 millimeters thick, which is a very large range of thicknesses you can get out of it. Although the 0.3 millimeter line takes a bit of concentration to achieve. The thinnest line you can achieve with the least amount of concentration is probably about 1 millimeter. You might have a different result. One of the things about this pen that I would consider a downside is that it contains a dye ink, and dye inks are not normally known for their light fastness or their waterproofness. So here I'm attacking different kinds of inks with a water brush pen, which seems to be already contaminated with the dye ink from a previous experiment. The ink from the uni fine liners hardly bleeds at all, and I know from experience it wouldn't have had at all if I had let it dry properly before I started putting water on it. Same goes with this brush pen, which I put some of that sumai Japanese ink out of it, made out of some dead burnt plants or something, I don't know. And on the other hand, the Pentel Touch Pen ink dissolves even when it is dry. So if you plan to do some watercolour with it, or some line art that you want to hang up on the wall and so people can gawk at it or whatever, and it's in direct sunlight, I would draw with something else. But if it's just staying in a sketchbook, it should last for ages. Now it's time to take this pen for a spin in my imagination. I decided to draw a dream I had a few nights earlier. Sometimes in my dreams I'm different people with different desires, and in this dream I was a large man who lives in a townhouse and is also currently experiencing the end of the world. I decided to make life really hard for myself and not draw any pencil construction lines beforehand or look up any references while drawing this. Sometimes I like a bit of a challenge. Well, almost a challenge, as I didn't set a standard for myself before I started. I told myself I was going to be happy with whatever the result was. I don't know if that's a good thing. Discontentment often leads to progress. If I was happy with whatever I drew, I would probably be still finger painting those mulch rainbows or something. You know, the kind of things little artists draw, where mum and dad are stuck in a strange landscape where the third dimension has been dissected into various two-dimensional planes and placed around their house. The back garden is looming above the roof. The driveway is plummeting down from the front door into the unknown. What supports these strange figures as they levitate in the centre of the frame, unable to interact with the world around them? Anyway, who am I to talk? Sometimes my art isn't any better. My perspectives are way off here. I'm not planning anything out beforehand, except in my head. I have to take time to visualize a scene beforehand and plan out the position of the main elements before I put pen to paper. Then I try to separate the scene in layers and draw the closest ones to me first, so I don't have to draw over the top of things. Anyway, I like this pen. It's nice to draw with. Never skipped once. It's got a smooth felt tip. I just wish it contained a different ink, but I think that might be my problem more than the pen's. I might be wanting to use it for a purpose that it wasn't intended for. Anyway, goodbye. Bye.